Dante psychically links with Liana, and I love that every time that happens, she goes. She literally is like, ugh.
Stand back, mother! We're having a telekinetic battle of men!
Hello, welcome back to the 201st. We didn't quit, Kyle. I know some people were worried that the last episode might have been the final one. We didn't quit.
We are in new territory. Not really new territory, but
same thing. But yes, the 201st episode of Good Bad or Bad Bad, the show where we watch terrible movies and tell you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shlock, joined as always by the other host, Mr. Kyle Hinton. Kyle, how you doing as we usher in the new era of Good Bad or Bad Bad? Identical to the old era of Good Bad or Bad Bad.
There's slightly unintended hiatus, a little bit more rejuvenated.
Yeah. We had an extra couple weeks involved there. We shot a little skit that we had to coordinate scheduling on and all that kind of stuff. My favorite thing about that skit in retrospect, and we're not going to get into the details, was that it kind of looks like we didn't film it on the same day because we never make an appearance in the same shot together. And that was a result of a handful of things.
Yes.
But I love that it kind of feels like we did it. Like, because even when we shake hands, it's like off camera. We were literally standing right across from each other filming that.
We probably shot that in, like 20 minutes total?
Total like an hour, but we filmed for probably like 20 minutes or something like that. 30 minutes tops, yeah. Yep. But anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed that and had a good time with the 200th episode. We had a lot of fun doing it. But it's time to move forward, Kyle, and by forward, I mean backward to the year 1995.
Going back to the well.
Today, go ahead.
So we've done a movie with this guy before.
Yes.
It was Showdown in Manila. It was one of the
with this actor.
Yes. It was one of the people they brought in, the special forces people.
Yes.
And not Cynthia Rothrock. No, we went for the other guy this time.
Yes.
Don the Dragon
Wilson.
Yes. I had heard of Don the Dragon Wilson. I was like, we've never really done any of it.
Not really, yeah. He made a movie. He was in that one movie we did. But I think he's been in... I looked through his thing and I was like, I really recognize this guy. And yeah, that was one of the places I recognize him. But he's also just been in tons of stuff over the years, like little bit parts in TV shows and all kinds of stuff. And for a while he's a big martial arts guy back in the 80s.
He got his start in kickboxing. I guess kind of like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
My favorite thing, did you see the credits?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was like, this has to be in
his contract.
It has to be in this.
And I'll just say
world champion kickboxer.
Yes, in his credits it says Don the Dragon Wilson, world champion kickboxer, which is incredible. So good. But the film we're talking about today is a 1999 film.
95?
That's what I had on IMDb. It was 1995.
I thought you said 99 right there.
No, 1995, yes. Okay. Film.
We'll take it to the tape right now.
It's a 1999 film.
Okay, we're back. I think.
What did I say?
I think you said 1999.
All right. Well, now we know. Now everybody knows who was correct and who was wrong. But yes, the film is Virtual Combat.
Virtual Combat. The future will blow you away.
Also known as Grid Runners.
Yes.
Which the version I watched, the title came up and said Grid Runners.
Yeah, the title comes up and said Grid Runners. It's called Virtual Combat on like YouTube.
Yes.
The link I sent you.
And on IMDb, I believe it's called Virtual Combat potentially.
Yes. Yes. There were some things in this film I was unprepared for.
Yes. I didn't know what to expect, and this movie was fantastic. Directed by Andrew Stevens, who's actually primarily a producer. Directed only a handful of films, and this is one of them. But he was a producer on random two movies. The Whole Nine Yards and The Boondock Saints.
Nice.
I don't know.
I'm assuming this guy puts together like action stuff.
I don't know. I don't think so. He seemed just like a producer who's worked on tons of random movies.
Possible.
He's had like 100 and something credits on random movies.
Okay.
His name is Andrew Stevens. But yes, as you mentioned, stars Don Wilson. An actual super random fun fact, makes an appearance in the sequel to the next movie we're reviewing. So not the movie we're reviewing on the next episode, but the sequel to that movie. Don Wilson is in that. I just saw,
God.
Which is
That's
super
crazy.
cool. We'll have to do that eventually. Yes, but we'll get to that in the future. But this movie, Virtual Combat, opens up, and already I loved it. From the moment one, I loved it because it opens up and it's just lasers everywhere.
It's like futuristic dystopian. It's basically firepower, but like in Las Vegas instead of LA.
Kind of, but not as. I don't think it's as post-apocalyptic as.
No,
like people seem to be living fairly normal lives.
It's much more in like the high-tech control.
Yes.
Type.
Yeah. The world's not falling apart, destroyed, but like there are like weird corporate overlords who like kind of control everything or whatever. But the lasers from moment one, and like the credits that come up and the music, I was like, this is great. This is so good. I was just living for this whole opening and then we start getting fight scenes, or we get these characters walking in, and there's just lasers and haze everywhere. There's like a wall of it looks like they're doing this in a laser tag arena. Is what it looks like. Or something like that from the 90s. It's incredible.
Dude, laser tag was so much fun back then.
All day, every Sunday. Laser tag, located behind Eastland Mall on Bogle Road.
Yes. No, absolutely. I played some laser tag a handful of times back in the day, and boy, at those old school ones where you wore I assume those still exist to some extent with the full vest.
You put on the vest, you go into like
black lights
the
and
misfold area.
Yeah.
You felt like you were on Global Guts and you were about ready to tackle the aggro crag.
Let's kick it over to Mo for the rules. Mo. The super mega aggro crag. Love that show.
I miss the 90s.
Great show. Anyways, but yeah, so there's just lasers everywhere, smoke and fog everywhere. It's incredible. And then we get this awesome silhouette fight. They have this like one of those like tube lasers where it creates. Dude, that was
the only other movie that we did that might have had that in there, and I'm gonna have to look back at the footage. Carnosaur,
that sounds
dinosaur,
right.
The like what late 80s, 90s dinosaur film.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I'll put it in there if it is. If not, I'll just cut this out.
But it's fine. I love all the lasers, and this guy like stands, and we get this silhouette fight in front of this blue tunnel of laser. It's fucking awesome. It's so cool from moment one. But then it becomes clear that Don Wilson. So it's Don Wilson is here, and he's fighting. And his name in the game or in the movie is David Quarry or something like that.
Quarry, yeah.
I think that's what his name is. But he's fighting people, and then after he beats a guy, we hear like a
an
voice.
Announcer, like an announcer says,
"You have chosen well once again. Will you proceed to level 7?
Would you like to advance to level 3?
Yes, and he's like, yes, I will. And then it like cuts, and he's in like a new stage or whatever. But it cracked me up. I was like, oh, okay, so that virtual combat then makes sense. We're literally playing like a live action video game kind of. The thing that was cracking me up about that voiceover, did you notice after every time he defeated his opponent, the voiceover, the first thing it would say,
"You have chosen wisely."
Yeah. It says you have chosen wisely. Why does it say chosen? He fought well. It should say you have fought well. Do you want to go to level 4? You have chosen wisely? You didn't choose anything. You just punched a guy until he fell over. Like, what are you
maybe it's like those idle phone games where if you don't have the right stats, you just instantly lose.
You have chosen well. Whatever. Anyways, so then he keeps advancing through the levels. First ones are lasers. Then he gets to one where he fights these two different guys, one in blue pants.
And he constantly is losing track of them.
In the most brightly lit environment he's been in yet.
Nothing obscuring them.
It's an empty warehouse.
Yes, it's so insane.
And he's like, where'd they go? It's like, did they plan this fight out in like one of the laser dark rooms, and then they ended up doing it in this brightly lit warehouse?
Hey, Dom, we don't have the shooting location today, but we can shoot this in like a parking garage.
Yeah, but you still gotta act like you're losing track of them, even though there's literally nothing in this room other than the people. But yeah, it's blue pants and yellow pants, and I love. We also get an incredible hi-ya from the guy in the blue pants. He does like a flip, and he's like, hi-ya! It's so good. And also the sound effects they use for when the guys do flips. The sound effects throughout this movie are hysterical.
Yes, they're pretty wild.
But man, the flip sound effects here are fantastic. But he defeats these guys, and when he defeats these guys,
Turn to goo?
yes, they literally turn into piles of goo on the floor, and I was like, what? Which doesn't really make sense
Until
later. But that wouldn't make
that's
sense
in the physical world,
Yes.
not the virtual world.
Exactly. So I don't understand
Yes.
what's going on there. It seems like they didn't think that through at all. But they do turn into goo. And then after he defeats them, they're like, do you want to go to level 8? And he's like, no.
You have chosen well. Will you proceed to level 8?
No. Advance me to level 10.
Take me to level 10.
Duh, 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 duh. And then he gets to level 10.
These go up to 11.
Yeah. He gets to level 10, and it's an all red planet or something.
I was getting some major dragon fight vibes right here.
Yeah. I was thinking, it was reminding me of trying to play Virtual Point. It's just like, it's a nightmare.
Don't you want to play Mario Tennis?
Yeah, don't you want to get a migraine playing Mario Tennis? But it's all red, and this guy shows up wearing this like demon mask, and this is Dante.
I thought the physical actor who played Dante, I thought this was a wrestler that I knew of.
He sure looked like a wrestler.
Do you know who Psychosis is? Mexican wrestler, dude, lucha mask and everything, but he always had like crazy like horn type things that come out. And so when I saw Dante for the first time,
he had the mask,
like the horned hockey mask, I was like, is that Psychosis? Because he also presents himself very much like a wrestler.
He later
Like
on
his
in the movie, he
presentation.
looks like a wrestler the way he walks around, and then, like his costume even has almost like a belt.
But I was surprised to find out. No, he's just
some guy.
Yeah, just a stunt guy.
But that would actually make sense too if it was like a Mexican guy or something, somebody who didn't speak English, because this guy doesn't talk.
Fun thing.
And there's just a voiceover.
Do you know who did his
Yes,
voice?
I did.
Okay, I'm so glad.
Do you think I don't recognize that voice, Kyle? Excuse me. Pardon me. Do you think I don't recognize that voice? That's the wrong one, I think. Or no, that's the Tangy one? Yeah, I can't remember. But anyways.
It is our favorite security officer.
Fucking Michael Dorn, baby. Worf is the voice of the villain. Yes, it's incredible. But he's only like you just hear him.
Yes.
Like the guy doesn't even try to like mouth it, and it's not like dubbed over. It's just the guy just never says anything.
That was an interesting decision.
I have friends trapped in your mainframe prison. Get them out now.
So they had that plan from the beginning, clearly. You know what I mean? Because it's like the guy just never talks, and like the voice comes over. So that was their plan all from the start for whatever reason. But he's fighting this guy Dante, who they're fighting with sticks for a bit, but the guy just is kicking his ass and basically says like, I know all your moves, I can predict what you're gonna do before you do it, and all that sort of stuff. And then ultimately,
but Don Wilson kind of beats him anyways?
He beats him, but then he just doesn't beat him.
Turns his back and gets stabbed.
Yeah, the guy is fine. I guess he didn't defeat him because he just stands up and then murders or kills Don Wilson.
You have chosen poorly, David Quarry.
And then we cut out of the game, and I absolutely love the virtual reality.
The freaking spinning gyro thing.
The gyro things from like the space camp commercial or whatever. I wanted to do that so bad when I was a kid.
It seems so disorienting. I would be throwing up if it was me.
Yes.
I would be vomiting.
But I love they're in these ridiculous neon outfits, strapped in these things, just spinning around in circles.
God.
It's so fucking funny. I love it so much. And he gets out, and then his buddy walks up and is like, you couldn't get him, could you? And he's like, well, no. He's like, all right, well, load up the cyber sex program for me. And he like tosses a thing to the operator or whatever.
You're having sex with a machine.
But a beautiful machine. One with big microchips.
And then we cut, and we're kind of introduced to the world a little bit.
Yeah.
And we see, like, we're in Vegas, I think. And it's like a future slightly dystopian Vegas, and this couple is there on their honeymoon or something like that, or just vacation or whatever. Like and they're walking, and they walk into one of the cyber booths.
I think it was the Riviera specifically.
Yes, they walk in, and this guy there's this booth who has
you completely missed Rip Taylor. How dare you?
I had a note about Rip Taylor, and then I decided I didn't care. He's in 3 seconds of this movie.
It's true. He's in there a very, very short time, but they're like taking some sort of like
it's a people mover
sidewalk.
thing,
Mover. And then Rip Taylor's giving him a pitch, sales pitch about like all the wonders of and Rip Taylor, for I guess anybody who doesn't know, is a very well known Las Vegas entertainer.
Yes.
The Riviera offers room special to qualified guests, of course, like you.
He literally has confetti stuff. That's also a big thing.
Yeah. He's dead, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He passed away. I think he
thought
passed
so.
away if he like
not that
6 or
long
7
ago,
years
but
ago.
yeah, a while ago. Yeah. But they get to this booth where this guy is offering forbidden games.
May I help you? Ready to play the forbidden games?
And they buy the tickets for the forbidden games, which is just you can have sex in virtual reality.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And they walk over to the kiosk and they're like clicking through like the different like characters they can have sex with. And the guy, it's like just random women.
No, they were ahead of his time. It's like hookup apps nowadays.
Yeah, essentially. They're like swiping through and they're like, one of them's like just like a blonde lady, one of them's like a dominatrix lady, one of them's a whatever. And
I like how we go to the woman one and it's like the first two are like fighters.
Yes, they're literally the fighters from the video game, and they're not even trying to be appealing or sexy. They're just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And she's like, ooh, maybe. I don't know. It's so amazing.
Good.
And then then the guy gets in. The guy gets in his, and we see a little bit of his.
Yeah.
This is where we get the first nudity in the movie.
This is where the censorship really fucking failed.
Because so we watched it. You had it on. You had a YouTube link.
I have this on YouTube. Is going to take this down, so I need to get the video, the recording of this done quick for research reasons.
It's on other platforms as well.
Yeah, good. But it's in 4:3, right?
Yeah.
And I think this was made to be cut into 16:9 because we get the censorship we get on the YouTube version covers the boobage, but that's it. It does not cover anything on the bottom.
That's so funny. So I ended up watching it on like Tubi or another platform. I can't remember, Plex or something like that, where it wasn't censored. So I saw it. But yeah, I did see the first censored clip.
But it was too late. I saw everything.
I've seen everything. Yeah, I've seen it all.
But I saw that one clip with the boobs censored. It's incredible. But so he goes in and he had picked the blonde woman, and she comes out of a hot tub and they like start kissing awkwardly, and I love it. Pulls back to virtual reality or like to the real world, and it's just a shot of that guy in the thing spinning around, and I absolutely love the implication that being strapped into one of those spinny carnival rides makes you like feel like you're having sex or something. You're literally just spinning around in circles. How does that make it feel real? Whatever. It's fun. It's an incredible concept.
Take me.
Debbie. Debbie.
I actually adore it because it's just like, who fucking cares? It's like, this is a dumb.
It's very much whatever. Let's go with it.
Let's go with it. It's fine. Oh my god. So then we cut from that, and that's again just introducing the concept of the cyber sex or whatever. Then we cut from that, and some guys are stealing some data from a data bank. I don't know how this applies to anything.
Yeah, it feels like it amounts to nothing.
Yeah, what does this? I'm not even sure what this relates to.
But they like broke into the mainframe.
Warning, software robbery in progress. Warning, software robbery in progress.
Yes, and they download some stuff, and then. They get
triggers an alarm, and there's a data breach, software theft going on right now.
And then so Don Wilson and his partner are like out in their car, and this is one of my favorite edits in the entire movie.
Their car looks so stupid.
Their car is so stupid because this movie is like a weird blend of like Running Man and like Blade Runner. It's called Grid Runners, and they ride these weird cars.
Runners.
And like it's
that's the only every time we do a Runners, it's the only thing that goes through my brain.
Truck runners running. Yeah. But my favorite thing about this is, so they're like sitting in their car, like, and I think they're in the LA Reservoir or whatever. That's what it looks like. Clearly that's where they are.
Yeah. I was like, and we go from Vegas and we're back in LA.
Yeah.
Cool.
But my favorite thing is they get the call and they're like, oh, we're looking out, and their guy's looking through binoculars, and he's like, yeah, we see them, or something like that. And he puts the binoculars away. They get in their car, the camera pulls back and spins around, and they were like right there. They were like 30 feet away running on this, and he was like using binoculars like, yeah, I think I see them. And they're like 20 feet away.
Are we sure this isn't like some parody?
Dude, I was cracking up at that. It was so good.
We're all over
But they're able to stop these guys, and they get them. And I don't really think anything ever comes of that. I don't know if it's a plot. Actually, I don't know if it relates to the plot at all, other than introducing our guys as like
there
cops.
was an area where like Don Wilson's character reports in like, yeah, we're gonna need a medic or something like that to check these guys out and get them like in a paddy wagon or something like that.
Hey, tell command we need a wagon out here, and make sure they know there isn't a uniform for Miles.
But he says, "You're just FYI, you're gonna be out of the zone or whatever. You won't have any backup." So it seems like it's more like if you're not inside one of the cities,
one of the grids,
that you're gonna be in like a lawless zone.
Okay, I guess that is the idea. It's very strange. Anyways, did you notice who his partner was? It's tough, but his partner is played by an actor named Ken McLeod.
Oh no! Should I know this?
No, I wouldn't have known it. But he has appeared in a movie we did. He was the main character in College Kickboxers.
I don't know what your problem is, so just stay out of my face, or I'll show you whose ass needs whipping.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's going way back.
Yeah. And this is like, I don't know, almost 10 years later or something like that this movie was. So he's significantly older. But yeah, that's apparently the lead from College. At least according to IMDb. He didn't really look that similar to me, but I could kind of see it. So they arrest some guy or whatever, and then we cut and we're introduced to the villain, who is this evil CEO. And you know he's the villain because he's sitting in a giant mansion playing organ by himself. Which is so how ridiculous. You know somebody's a villain.
So ridiculous.
Yes.
Also, that doctor, before he goes in, has to stand on like some sort of scanner.
Oh, yeah. That, like,
to get scanned for stuff.
Weapons or whatever.
Little TSA futuristic.
Yeah.
Once again, before that it became a thing.
Yeah, honestly. And their little communicator things they have.
Dude, this film was way ahead of its time.
Kind of ahead of its time. A little bit ahead of its time.
We'd find out who the writer was and be like, what do you know?
What do you know? But so the scientist goes in and he's talking to the CEO guy and he's like, hey, I got something I want to show you. Got to come to the lab. So he takes him back to his lab and he basically explains that he has created, he was able to use protoplasm to give physical form to the
computer program.
The computer program being the sex bot ladies.
Yes.
Of course. So that he introduces Liana, I believe is her name, who's our main female character.
Well, you see, there's a bit of a problem. Whenever we bring a creature to life like this, they don't follow their programming. They have free will.
Yes.
She's also been programmed to learn, which may present some difficulty in controlling her.
So this electrical collar will eliminate that.
Yeah. So they strap an electrical collar on her that they can zap her with to hurt her, or if they trigger a button enough, the right button, it will
her head,
destroy your, crush your neck essentially, and kill you. But he also says we can only have one single version of
for the obvious reason.
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
But
because the guy's like, can we make more of them? And he's like, well, you can only, because of the computer, we can only have one of a given like AI
out at once
or whatever. Yeah.
The artificial intelligence circuits of the Los Angeles mainframe allow for only one Liana to exist at a time.
So but anyway, so they have this collar thing on her, and then he's like, here, let me show you, I'll create another one, and it takes like 30 seconds. He creates another, this is where he creates Greta, the dominatrix lady. Yeah. I also love that she comes fully formed with clothing
and
a whip just out of the goo, like just has it already. And then right after that, so the guy's like, sick, this is awesome, we're gonna make a ton of money off this, I'll be back. And then while later that night or whatever, the scientist is in the lab, why does he create Dante? Or does that happen accidentally?
I have no idea. It happens so quickly.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any reason.
I don't understand why he does it, or if it was not on purpose or what, but he creates Dante, the villain from the 10th level of the video game, comes out of the vat and then is makes another guy, I think, right? He's like, oh, you're gonna make another one of my friends. I don't understand what was happening there, why the doctor or why the scientist guy did that. I have no idea. But anyway, so now Dante is out free in the world, and this is gonna cause some issues. We cut back to Don Wilson, him and his buddy, his partner, which I can't remember that guy's name. I'm just going to call him
John. I think it was John.
John, yeah. They're hanging out at a bar and they're like chit-chatting, and Don Wilson is talking about how he's obsessed with defeating Dante. He must defeat
him.
It's a computer program. You can't beat a computer at a computer game. It's impossible.
Defeat Dante, and his partner's like, why don't you just have sex like everybody else, you weirdo? in the robot, in the computer, everybody else just fucks in there, and you're like obsessed with beating that fighting guy. You weirdo.
To change your whole lifestyle for a computer game? And you think I'm weird for wasting my credits on cybersex?
And so they have a little bit of chit chat, and then meanwhile, the evil CEO takes the two sex bot ladies, Greta and Liana, to a computer. I don't even know what his plan is here. He's going to the LA grid for some reason, and they stop and they kill like a border guard or something. I don't know. I don't know why. They just murder some random guy.
Do they take a train, a plane, or something like
that? They
just
drive.
They just drive. Why?
I don't understand. He's a powerful CEO. You would think it wouldn't, like, he could just go wherever he wants, right? What does he need to kill a guard? I don't understand.
I'm sure it's like probably like a 6-hour drive, 5-hour drive
from Las Vegas to LA.
Yeah,
I think it's like 4 hours or something. But yeah,
but you own a freaking biotech.
He's like one of the richest people in the world, you would imagine.
Take your freaking plane.
I don't understand why he has to like sneak in or whatever he's doing. But anyways, after that happens, like after Greta kills that guard guy, Dante psychically links with Liana, and I love that every time that happens, she goes. She literally is like, ugh.
Stand back, mother! We're having a telekinetic battle of men!
But he links with her, and he's like, so where are you? What are you guys doing? Dante, I'm here to fuck shit up. And she kind of communicates with him and tells him what's going on.
Let me see into your mind. Let me see where you are.
I'm like, oh, okay. And then they get back in the car and drive away. Then meanwhile, they get a call. Oh, and then a call comes in about the dead security guard, I think, at the dam. They were at like Hoover Dam or something like that. And a call comes in about that, and John goes to investigate. The partner, Ken is out doing something. I don't know, whatever.
For reasons.
Yeah, but he goes to investigate the Code Red, and when he gets there on top of the dam...
It does seem weird having the, like, more nonchalant cop being the one, like,
who's like
going after.
Yeah. I don't know. But he gets there, and I love, does their door on their car just not work?
I think so.
It's always open.
I think so. It's so weird.
It's always
These cars
open.
These cars look like miniature security vehicles that are like fully electric.
Yeah.
That you would have at some sort of like airport or something.
I have no idea. It's so strange, but the door is always open. Literally always open. But he gets there and he starts looking around and he sees some footprints in the distance that are, he's like 2 female, 1 male footprints. And then as he's walking around top of the bridge, he just turns around and Dante's there.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Las Vegas Grid Patrol, freeze! Check freeze!
Pulls out his stun baton, which they have little like laser stun baton
it shoots
things.
lasers. It shoots stuns. Literally set phasers to stun.
Literally. But he's shooting this stun thing at him and it just doesn't do anything. It does absolutely nothing. And Dante just walks right through it and just starts beating the shit out of him and then breaks his neck and kills him. Just murders him, and it's like, oh, well, that was quick. He's dead now. But he did get in a mayday right before he died. He was able to call back the office on his little Pip-Boy, it's literally called a Pippin, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
I was like, what is
and
this?
We're in Vegas.
I know. I couldn't get over it. I was like, what is going on here? But yeah,
again with the writer. What do you know?
What do you know? We could end up finding out that it was like the person who wrote like Fallout, like one of the Fallout games or something. That would be wild. But they have these little communication devices that flip open. They're like the size of almost like a bigger, slightly bigger than an iPhone.
Like take 2 phones and just like
but then they
together.
it flips open. And there's a little screen on it, and they have like an AI assistant that are like little virtual
Again,
assistants. I
what
know
do you
it's
know?
wild, dude. They have little AI assistants that he's able to talk to, and then they're like, but he has his AI assistant call for help. He puts in a Mayday call before he gets his neck snapped.
Mayday, Mayday.
Mayday, Mayday. Officer needs assistance.
And then so now he's dead, and then Don Wilson gets all his stuff and finds out and is very sad, and he has to go tell his partner's dead wife with a very newborn baby, your husband's dead.
We went like full Top Gun here for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
But she is in full denial.
Yes.
Which is so
Makes
sad.
Johnny's just stopped drinking. You know how he gets.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a sad scene, all things considered, and it's acted pretty well. But he tells her her husband's dead, and she's like, freaking out. And then he's like, she's like, find out who did it. Like, you got to figure it out, like solve the crime.
Get the classic line, get the son of a bitch.
Get the son of a bitch, exactly.
David, get the bastards.
So he goes and he's got to go. He figures out he needs to go to LA for some reason. Oh, or no, he's got to go to the dam or I can't remember. He ends up going to LA.
They were able to track it because they were tracking the doctor who had his neck broken.
Yes,
by Dante. Dante took his money information, his financial information, and bought a ticket to LA.
Okay,
and that's how they were able to track.
Okay, that makes sense. So then Don Wilson's like, okay, so we got to go to LA. So he goes to LA. And when he gets there, he arrives off the subway or whatever, and immediately gets accosted by a gang of hooligans led by a man in a business suit.
Yes. Well, also, he resigned from the police force.
Oh, that's right.
And the sergeant,
because he was
a spoiler,
yeah,
is the leak.
He's evil, yeah. And so he doesn't want him to go investigate. So he's like, I'm doing it anyway. Screw you. Or
so
whatever.
that's how these guys are able to know exactly where he is.
Yeah.
Whenever he gets there.
Yeah, so he gets there, immediately accosted by this gang of thugs, led by a guy in a business suit, who's like the main toady for the CEO guy, I think. They start. I love a guy in a suit fighting. It's one of my favorite cliches from martial arts movies.
Yes.
Is when the protagonist fights a guy who's wearing a full business suit who doesn't seem like he should be able to fight, but he's a fucking badass.
Can.
Yeah, I love
it's like,
that shit.
What was it? No retreat, no surrender at the beginning of that.
Yes.
When Jean-Claude Van Damme's in his suit.
Yes. I love that shit. It's so fun. But anyways, he fights this guy in a business. I think Jackie Chan movies had that happen a couple. I feel like the end of Drunken Master, which is one of my favorite fight scenes.
Doesn't Drunken Master take place in the 1800s?
It might be Drunken Master 2.
Alpha Cop or something like that.
No. It's one of the Drunken Masters. And I could be wrong about this, but one of the Drunken Masters, it does take place in the late 1800s, I think. But I think one of the guys he fights in it's the big fight scene in the smelting factory. Have you seen that one? It's a very famous fight. It's fucking amazing if you haven't seen it. But in that, I think one of the guys he fights is wearing a suit. I think. I could be wrong about that. I might be remembering a different movie. But anyways, go watch Drunken Master. Yeah, it's incredible. Or Drunken Master 2, whichever movie that one's from. And but he fights this guy in the suit, and then the cops show up and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And the suit guy's like, "I'm rich. Fuck you." And they're like, "Oh, okay, you're rich. You work for a rich guy."
I believe you. I believe you've seen my card.
Yeah,
just pulls out a American Express Platinum or something like that.
And they're like, "Oh, you work for evil CEO. You can do whatever you want." But at this point, Don Wilson ran away already. Yeah. He booked it. But then my thing that cracked me up.
He just tells the cops don't.
Yeah, he doesn't have the cops go after him, and he stops all of his guys.
He just
and tells one guy to go, which makes no sense, but sure. And Don Wilson's able to beat that guy up and get away or whatever. Meanwhile,
but thankfully, this guy this guy is supposed to be undercover as a gang member is also working. He's working for the tech company, right? And he has his name tag.
Oh, that's right.
Why does he have the name tag?
Yes, he has his security pass or whatever, exactly. Which Don Wilson is able to get off him. So now he has some more information.
So stupid
to go on. Meanwhile, Liana and Greta have been captured by somebody, the evil corp. Not captured.
Yeah, because they're basically going to be selling people the idea of making your own cyber person
companion, whatever. Yeah. And they're not captured, but they're being held by the company that owns in a cell or whatever. But luckily, Greta has a magic whip.
Yes, they're able to contact with Dante, and he's like, "This is what you need to do.
Yeah,
turn your magical whip and whip that guy's nuts.
Whip that guy in the dick." She snakes it out under the door and pushes it, and it slithers like a snake out, and then crawls up the guy's leg, and then she whips it and it goes right on the head of his dick.
Bring me the keys.
And he's like, "Motherfucker." And she's like, "Give me your keys." And he's like, "Okay." It's incredible. It's kind of amazing. So they're able to escape from the little jail cell or whatever. And as soon as they get out, for some reason, Liana's like,
"No, I'm out of here."
Yeah. No seeming motivation for that at all. We have never set up any moment prior to this in the film of her not wanting to be affiliated with Dante. She just decides like, nah, I don't want to do this, and just bails. But Greta runs off to find Dante, and Liana runs off on her own, and then they both end up. Liana and Don Wilson both end up at like this homeless shelter together, basically. Yeah. So Don Wilson's in there like hanging out, having nightmares or whatever when he takes a nap and has a nightmare, and then she shows up and she's like helping a kid, and they get introduced to each other. They meet each other. He defends her honor. He defends her honor from some guy who's like trying to come on to her. And then he's like introduces himself, and then they like walk off into a back room, and she reveals that she has this collar thing on, and they have the weirdest conversation. Kyle, does he know what she is? They never discuss it.
No, they don't.
And so I don't know if he knows.
She does later have to explain that she's a program.
Yes, later. But in this whole first interaction, they never, and I don't know if he just assumes she's weird or what.
Or off the grid.
What?
Like she's from the outer area.
Okay. I guess that could be. I don't know. It's so
Ryan,
weird.
keep up with this.
Sorry, I didn't know what you meant. I was like, what? I forgot the grid thing. But so he basically helps her get the collar off. They figure out that he has with his little Pip-Boy thing.
Yeah, he had like a second to take the collar off.
And he's so strong, he's able to just rip it off with his bare hands. And so he gets the collar off, and then she immediately is like, take my clothes off.
Yeah, what?
Why don't you help me off with my clothes?
And he's like, "What's part of me? What?" Says, "Pardon me, what?" But it's actually, what she specifically says, because she says it numerous times, which cracked me up because it's such a weird way to say it. She says, "Help me off with my clothes." Not help me take my clothes off. Help me off with my clothes, which I think is correct. Okay. It just sounds very strange. Anyways, but he's like, "No, why are you doing that?" And she's like, "I don't know. I just live to please or whatever." He's like, "You shouldn't. You should do what you want." And she's like, "Do what I want."
I try to do everything that men want.
You should do whatever you want.
I don't know what I want.
What does that mean? And he's got to explain the idea of like having desires.
This is where like she's explaining maybe she's a programmer.
I don't think she does though. Maybe she does, and I mixed it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I swear I didn't think she explained it here. But maybe she does.
But as you do, you have sex in a homeless shelter.
Yes, yeah. So after he tells her that she doesn't have to have sex with him, she decides she still wants to, and they fucking do it. Laying on like an old cot in the basement of this blown up building. They have sex, and then
the business dude shows up again with his cronies.
Yes, they walk back upstairs. Business guy shows up, and they all get surrounded. And he's like, "Run!" And she starts to run away, and he starts fighting guys. And then she just starts beating the shit out of people. It's like, oh,
okay.
I guess she can just fight also. I guess that's part of her programming is she can also fight. That's pretty sick. What I think would have been funny, and maybe they kind of would have worked. And I think I guess maybe they're kind of implying this with having the dudes when that one woman at the beginning was picking, and some of the dudes were in like the sex thing. Like they should have had her be like their characters cross over between. Both.
That's what I was confused on too, because like how does Dante know about these like sex programs?
Yeah.
Like
they should be both.
Is this like Tron where the programs all live on the mainframe?
yeah, exactly. Or like Wreck-It Ralph or whatever, where they're all like hanging out. Yeah, what I thought would make sense is if like, yes, the characters literally are in both games, and so they know like sometimes they are sex bots, sometimes they are fighters, and then that would make sense why she can both fight and is like I don't know, but they don't ever explain that or say that, so I have no idea if that's what's supposed to be going on here. But she can just beat the shit out of people, so she just murders people, and then the suit guy shows up with his little cell phone laser gun and just starts zapping. Pew, 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 pew. And they gotta run away. So they gotta get away, and then this is where we find out basically that Dante's plan is that he wants to go to LA
where their power source. It's like the
super grid, or
it's
whatever.
Where like the main headquarters is, the super grid. It's where everything is that he needs to resurrect all of his buddies from the virtual game.
All the killers from virtual reality. He's gonna bring them back to life.
Yes, all the fighters from the fighting game, so that I guess he can like take over the world or something. I guess is the idea. They don't really ever say what his plan is, but he wants to bring all the fighters into the real world so that they can all team up and be badasses. I guess is the idea.
Soon, my friends, soon you will all be free.
And so some stuff happens. I love this. At one point, we cut after they escape. Liana has to like mind melds with this makes no sense, Kyle. She mind melds with Dante so that when he gets a flash into her brain and he sees Japantown.
Yeah. Little Tokyo, right?
Yeah, well, I say Japantown in the movie is what they call it.
Bright colored signs. Japantown.
And he's like, they're in Japantown. And then it cuts back and we see our heroes and they're not. They've got a postcard of Japantown.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, they tricked them to think they were going to, like she was looking at the postcard to get that image in her mind. So now they think they're going to Japantown. That's clever. I wonder what they're actually going to do.
No, they just go
to Japantown, Kyle. Why did they need to trick them to go there when they literally just go there?
I don't know. It feels like a pickup shot.
It makes no sense. Literally, yeah, exactly. It does. Because like literally the next shot after they like she does the postcard thing. They like they're walking through Japantown. They walk around a corner and Dante is standing there and they're like, yep, there he is. Yep. We found him.
Okay,
we got him to where we wanted him.
We're going to have a great fight, a great showdown against Dante, and he's down.
And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
It's so stupid.
Literally gets punched once,
Yes.
and he's down.
Yeah. Oh, I also just real quick, I have to back up for a second. I love when she does the mind meld with Dante. Dante and Greta are just making out like high school kids.
Yeah.
Like they're just standing in the middle like a blown out building, just like kissing. like they're 13. It's so funny. It's cracking me up. But anyway, so they get in that fight, and like you said, stupid. It lasts 2 seconds. Don Wilson loses immediately, and Dante runs off with Liana, and then he has to fight Greta
for reasons.
Yeah, he takes Liana for whatever reason.
Anyways,
then he has to fight Greta because she stays behind to stop Don Wilson, and he starts fighting her for a minute, and then he just kicks her against a wall.
Yeah,
and the pressure. They explain this after the fact.
500 psi, right?
Yes, 500 psi of pressure against a hard surface.
Yeah.
Will cause their molecular bonds to break down, and that's how they turn into goo.
Causing a breakdown of electrical impulses at 500 psi against solid matter.
My God, how did you kill it? Or how did we kill it? Well, easy. We provided enough force for it to be not alive anymore.
Literally, that is it. And the computer explains, like, and then it's got a little thing of like the little double helix like breaking down and falling apart. It's like, yeah, you just kick them until they turn into goo. I guess is the idea. All right, cool. Fantastic. But then Dante takes Liana back to the CEO or something. I don't know. She gets captured by the CEO again. Somehow the CEO grabs her again. And then Don Wilson is able to escape. He goes back, and this is where he meets up with his commander captain guy again from the beginning. And the commander guy is like, you got to stop doing this. You got to stop investigating. And he's like, no, I know this is the right thing. I got to do it or whatever.
Those are my orders, Clyde. Drop it and turn it over to the feds.
I don't take orders from you anymore.
And then he takes out the tiniest little knife.
He pulls out a little Boy Scout pocket knife. The commander is like, I'm going to get you. And Don Wilson fucking kicks him out of a third-story window.
Oh, God. So good.
And kills him. It's amazing. But yeah, so the commander guy, captain or whatever, was corrupt, working for the evil.
Isn't that corrupt?
It is very corrupt, Kyle. Apparently. But Don Wilson luckily kills him and then has to go get ready. But he's got a sick montage where he's getting suited up. And by sick montage, I mean 2 shots where he puts a tank top on and then he sticks a tiny stiletto in his boot. That's it. That's the whole.
That's all he's got.
That's the gearing up montage. It's 2 things.
And he's got his little Pip Boy.
Yes, that's true. He also has his Pip Boy. But so he goes and he's got to break into the CEO's building or whatever, and then is immediately captured. Just immediately captured.
And then the CEO's outside as well now? Like,
no, this is where he takes him to the office.
Okay.
This is where they...
Right,
yes.
right.
So he goes in and then...
What was his plan here?
I don't know, because he immediately is captured by suit guy. Who's like, I got you, motherfucker. And he drags him in front of the CEO, who has Liana there, who, in a collar again now. He put another collar on her. And then he pulls a gun out of his desk.
An actual gun.
An actual gun.
Non-futuristic gun.
No, just like a normal old school revolver.
Yeah.
And he puts 1 bullet in it. But did you notice this? He doesn't spin it
or anything. He knows exactly.
He knows where it is.
Yeah.
But then the whole scene plays out like they're playing Russian roulette. But he knows what cylinder the bullet's in.
I think it's five rounds because he does 4.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you must be a lucky man.
Well, you're a lucky man, Mr. Quarry.
It's like, no, you put the book.
You put it there at the last one, bro.
So stupid. Maybe the idea is that it's because it's an old gun, he doesn't know how it works.
Oh, that would
actually be pretty funny.
That'd be pretty
He
good.
knows the idea of Russian roulette, but doesn't actually understand like how it operates, and so he just like, I don't know. But he keeps trying to shoot him, and nothing. He doesn't end up killing him. Also, did you notice this? Like, I liked this. This was some of the only good world building in this movie. They call the like Liana and Dante and them. They call them A-lifers.
You can shoot me, but what are you going to do about the third A-lifer?
For like artificial life forms or whatever.
Nice.
A-lifers. I thought that was kind of fun.
A little bit of world building.
Yeah, a little bit of world building. There's a whole lot that the movie is missing in terms of that, but that was fun. But luckily, Don Wilson had a plan, is that he left his Pit Boy in the elevator.
Yes, and he's rigged it to blow?
Well, he rigged it to blow, but first he uses it as like a distraction.
Open up, FBI. We have you surrounded.
Up, and this distracts the CEO long
I like
enough.
how he activated because his Pit Boy's name
Yes.
is Mary, like
Yes.
as a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And he says, "You have any last words?" Hail Mary, full of grace.
Hail Mary. Full of grace.
Open up, FBI.
It's like literally the prayer.
Yeah, and that activates Mary. And so she does the distraction. He's able to get the gun away and fire the bullet off or whatever. And then they just start beating. He starts beating everybody up. And then, there's an explosion goes off and blows up the suit guy or whatever. And it cracks me up. During the fight in this like office area, there's this one super slow-mo shot. At one point, Don Wilson like kicks at the CEO guy, or maybe it's not the CEO guy, it's the suit guy. And the suit guy just jumps up onto the desk, but they shoot it in super slow-mo like it's the most impressive thing you've ever seen.
He literally kicked him up. Like
He doesn't kick him up. No. He doesn't kick him up, Kyle.
I must have completely
The guy
missed this.
literally is standing on the ground and jumps 2 feet into the air and lands on top of a desk. And they're acting like it's like this cool moment that needs to be shot in super.
No.
It's so stupid. Anyway, it's so dumb. Like I kept waiting. Like, is something else gonna happen? No. Okay, he just jumped on a desk. Fantastic. But he's able to beat everybody up, and they get outside. And they escape out of the building. They get outside, and there's a helicopter flying around.
Apparently he doesn't want to land on the top of the building. I guess there's no helipad up there.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's a helicopter flying around. But the villain has Liana, and he's got her. And he's got the little device that'll blow her neck up or whatever. And Don Wilson's is like staring at him or whatever. He doesn't have anything, or he might have a gun.
He has the stiletto knife.
Well, not yet, but we don't know he has that yet, Kyle. It's a secret. That's a secret, Kyle. But it doesn't matter. But he anyway. So the guy is like, I'm gonna blow her up or whatever. And Don Wilson from behind his back pulls the stiletto out, chucks it into his hand, impales his hand. And he's like, oh, no, fuck, And then the girl is able to get away. She gets the remote.
Yeah, to take off her collar.
Takes her collar off and then sneaks up.
Sneak 100. Puts it around his neck.
And maybe in the best moment of the film, activates it, and the guy's neck starts getting crushed. And I was not expecting this, Kyle. His head pops off.
Yeah.
Like a
the
bottle
look
cap.
on her eyes was like pure like revenge.
It's so good. It's so good. And then my favorite thing is, so the guy drops the pistol he was holding, and Don Wilson runs over, grabs the pistol, spins around, because now the helicopter is shooting lasers at him.
This is
the
so
sound
good.
effects on the lasers. It's like pew, pew.
So Don Wilson, he does like his little barrel roll thing. Fires off 5 shots.
Shoots at a helicopter a handful of times, and it just
completely explodes. It's incredible. It's the dumbest thing, but it's so awesome.
It's so good. It's so stupid, but it is so good. Oh my God. Meanwhile, now, so they've gotten away from the evil CEO. Meanwhile, Dante is breaking into the grid building headquarters or whatever, and we get a fucking one take hallway old boy shot. Did you notice that? Dante's like walking down a hall and it's all a single take, and he's like, guys are coming out and he's just like beating the shit out of him as the camera tracks. I was like, okay. I mean, now I will say this: choreography is like pretty boring and like generic, and
they
not
were
very
limited
good.
on back then.
Yeah, the choreography could have been better, but the idea behind it, I was like, all right, we get like a single take hallway fight. This is pretty cool. Again, years before Old Boy or a lot of that other stuff. Anyways, I thought it was fucking awesome. But Don Wilson gets in with Liana. And Liana's there for, I don't know. Somehow he confronts Dante, and somehow Dante gets Liana and is like holding her hostage. I don't know how that happens. But I was very disappointed because we built up the humanity of this character the whole movie. Yeah. And he just fucking kills her.
Then watch her die.
Dante's literally like, back off or I'll kill her.
Yeah. And then he just kills her.
It's like, I can't let you do that. All right.
Snaps her neck. And then she slowly dies after having her neck snapped. Every other person in this movie, when their neck is snapped, is immediately dead. She's like,
and then she's like, and goo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she goos. And that's the thing where I was like, oh, okay, well, I see how this is going to end now. I was disappointed. Well, let's get there. But or we'll get to that eventually. But I was really disappointed that they killed her because like I thought she was an interesting character and I thought their dynamic was kind of interesting, and they just murder her and it's so boring.
We can't have nice things, Brian.
I know. But no, so he squares off with Dante. He gets into the mainframe. Dante has started like the machine that's gonna copy all the fighters or whatever. And so there's like a 4-minute countdown or something.
Such weird activation. It's like you can't even start until that point. It's like warming up your machine.
I guess it makes no sense, but it's going for like, it's got like a 4-minute countdown. So they get into this fight. So he has like 4 minutes to defeat Dante before he can stop it. So they go fight. And again, the fights are fine. They're not like bad in this movie, but they're not very good. Like they're not, the choreography and stuff is not particularly like interesting or fun or exciting. It's just like fine. But so he fights Dante forever. And there's this one of my favorite parts in this fight scene is there's a slow-mo moment where they both jump kick at each other and they're like flying past each other in slow-mo, and Dante like spins his foot around and kicks Don Wilson in the nuts, I think. Which was pretty cool. That was fun. And then they keep fighting, and at one point they get like on a roof or something, and Dante manifests a katana out of nowhere
and just tosses it to Don Wilson's character,
so they can have a sword fight.
Okay,
and then they have, I am not kidding, the worst sword fight I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
It is the slowest, lamest sword fight choreography I have ever seen. They're just like,
it's okay. We'll speed it up in post. We'll make it look really good.
Spoilers: they did not speed it up in post and make it look very good. You when you were 12 and you and your friends used to fight in the backyard.
Yeah, that's what it was.
With wiffle ball bats.
Yep.
That has more speed and dynamism than the fight in sword
We're
fight.
learning everything about Brian's childhood.
You didn't have wiffle ball fights in your backyard, Kyle?
Not really. I had friends with actual like mall swords.
To be fair, we also fought with like lightsabers and stuff, but we
also did the old fashioned PVC pipe and pool noodle.
Yes,
so you just duct tape that stuff.
You could do that. We used to use the we used to like fence with the little yellow wiffle ball bats. Yeah. But dude, it's so brutally boring. It's so bad. At one point, Don Wilson cuts his hand off, but he just
regenerates another one.
Grow it back.
Special effects look really shitty.
It's not great. Yeah. And then so again, throughout this whole thing, Dante just keeps repeating, I know all your moves. I can predict everything you're going to do. So you cannot defeat me.
You can't kill me. I learned my best moves from you.
And in that moment, Don Wilson is like, well, what if I
act like Bruce Lee?
Yes. What if I switch to Southpaw and then start like hopping around?
Yeah.
That'll confuse them, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so.
I guess it works. I don't know. Also, I will say this. It cracked me up the whole movie. I could not get over how much Dante looks like Scott Stapp from Creed, the lead singer of Creed. And the whole time he's walking around, all I could think of was, can you dig me high? It's like this guy walking around. It's so good. But he's like fighting him southpaw, and I guess that works or whatever.
He trips him. He does the freaking fighting move that everybody hates in every fighting move. The low kick
trip. Yeah.
Yep.
Trips him on the ground and then jumps and
and just stomps on him. And apparently that is the required amount of PSI.
He hits the 500 PSI threshold.
To goo him.
Yes, he goos him. And then drops the worst one-liner because it's exactly what you expect.
Game over.
Game over. All right, fine, whatever. It's boring. Boo.
He shuts it down.
Yeah, he shuts it down. He succeeds. And what I was hoping was that. So I thought what I was thinking a great ending.
He's gonna make another one.
Yeah, well, here's the great ending, Kyle. It starts shutting down. He's trying to shut it down, and it's like warning, shutdown in progress. But somehow he realizes that it's gonna create something. Like he got there just too late.
Might as well make another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's got to create something because it's like he got there too late. So instead of creating like a fighter guy, he's like, I got an idea, and then Liana comes out of the goo, and they reunite. That's a great ending. Come on. But no, he shuts it down and they're fine. And
now Don Wilson's addicted to cyberspace.
Yes, because now instead what he gets to do is go into the computer and hang out with Liana in the computer, and they stand in their like cloudy heaven place or whatever and reunite.
Which I'm sure the person running the game is like, hey, weren't you supposed to be the fighting game guy? Yeah. I need the cyberspace.
Yeah, my absolute favorite thing though is the way the movie ends. Is he reunites with Liana and they start making out and it's all heavenly and there's like smoke and like billowing light and stuff, and then it cuts out to the machine. And it's Don Wilson like. And that's the end of the movie.
It's so crazy.
It's so good. It's such a good ending.
This is good bad.
Oh, it's absolutely good bad.
It's good bad.
Absolutely good bad. It's a ton of fun. It's super goofy, but I loved it. I would absolutely say good bad for Don the Dragon Wilson, World Kickboxing Champion, and Virtual Combat / Grid Runners. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on other places.
I don't know how long it'll be on YouTube with that glaring censorship issue.
Yeah. Like I said, I watched it on like Plex or some other free service where it was available. So go check it out. That's gonna do it for this episode. As always, you can do us a giant favor by heading over to patreon.com/GBorBB. Support us there, get access to bonus content and stuff like that. We're actually recording 2 bonus episodes today to make up for one we missed last month for some technical issues. It's all good. I have a podcast. Your camera battery's about to die. I have a podcast called This Film Was There. We're talking about movies that are based on books. When this episode's out, the most recent episode will have been Kiki's Delivery Service, I believe.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes, we just did that last week, and then or this week, and then we have merch, tpublic.com. Look for merch. I'm wearing the shirt. You can get some merch. Just search for Good Bad or Bad Bad. That's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back for episode 201. Until next time, keep watching movies, especially
Virtual Combat / Grid